Hello, people. Sujara speaking. Welcome to Crazy Bunch's WebShow, episode number 62, and it's Mother's Day, everyone. So before we begin this Crazy Bunch's WebShow episode, we're gonna do 5 facts of the week, and we'll do 5 dev topics and 2 more topics to read. So let's talk about today, shall we? So we got, first of all, we like to congratulate a good friend of mine named Carly Mills and Blake Mills, who's having a new baby named Charlotte Mills today. And for just Carly, I'd like to say congratulations to you on this whole new baby girl, and hope I can see her in person next month. But right now, before I begin, I'm gonna have some Chips Ahoy cookies while I'm reading this first step topic for you guys. Anyways. First one I'm reading is Jerry Dorn. Anyway. He was an American soap opera actor, okay? Best known for this role as Ross Mara, have been announced in Guiding Light, and Clint Buchanan, have been announced his last name, in One Life to Live. He was becoming one of the Guiding Light's longest-running cast members, debuting in the role of March 19th, 1979, providing the character of Ross for over 26 years. Wow. He won Daytime Emmy Awards for Best Supporting Actor in 1995 and again in 1996. Redorn also portrayed Ross in an A3 television movie, The Crayola Fall. The adaptation of the book for the film, using several Guiding Light characters in supporting roles. In The Weird 82, he played the role of Ross's soon to be wife, Cherry Todd's, played by Jane Elliott. First husband, Todd Mackenzie, in Carrie's flashbacks during Carrie's murder trial of one of Ross's former nemesis, having announced it. Diane Barr, played by Sylvia Langer, was also appearing in the flashbacks. Wow. In the fall of 1994, he played the humorous lookalike of Howie Haas, who was the total externalized, have been announced of Ross. His last appearance as Ross aired on October 11, 2005. On October 25th, 2005, Redorn took over the role of Clint Buchanan on ABC's One Life to Live. He continued on the role until the series cancellation in 2012. On January 8th, 2013, Redorn became the first actor to sign on the revival of One Life to Live that aired on the online network. He died May 1st, 2022 for cancer. He was 72 years old. Now, my next step topic has to do with Tony Brooks, the race driver, best known as Charles Anthony Sanders Brooks, was a British racing driver, also known as the racing dentist. Okay, he participated in 39 Formula 1 World Championship Grand Prix, debuted on July 14th, 1956. And it was achieving 6 wins, 10 bomb finishes, and 75 clear points. He was running the World's Drivers' Championships in 1958, and with Vandal in second in 1959 with Ferrell. He was also scoring the first win by the British driver in the British car in the Grand Prix since 1923. Wow. During the tournament in Syracuse in 1956, in a non-championship race, after the death of Sir Striking Moss in 2020, before his own death in 2022. Brooks is the last surviving Grand Prix winner from the 1950s. He was born February 25th, 1932, in Doggenfield, Cheshire, and educated at Mount St. Mary's College. He was son of dental surgeons Charles Janisha Brooks and studied to practice himself. Okay? He was also a cousin of Norman Standish Brooks, former British Olympic swimmer. He took up racing in 1952, drove a Hesley and Fraser Nash, okay, at club events until 1955, okay. In that same year, Brooks drove a Formula 2 car at Crystal Palace, okay, and finished fourth. Later in 1955, Brooks made his first Formula 1 start the non-championship, 1955 Syracuse Grand Prix, okay, winning that race, okay. This is the first international Grand Prix win for the British car since 1924 San Sebastian Grand Prix. Hold on. Sorry about that, everyone. Smoke cookies. I'll be right back. I'm back, folks. Sorry for the delay. I just finished up eating my Chips Ahoy cookies. So let's get back to the dev topic, shall we? So we got. Anyway. Sorry about that, everyone. It's just my mustache has been off the hook. Anyway, move on. Next. Brooks claimed the first victory for the British concentrated car in the World Championship race in the 1957 British Grand Prix in entry, where he started with steering Moss, along with Moss, okay? Brooks is concentrated one of the best drivers, one of the best drivers, never have to been a world champion, both Moss and the three-time world champion Jack Burnham, were known to have been taught highly on this ability, okay? In 1959, Brooks, together with Burnham and Moss, had a chance to win the title due to the retirement and subsequent death in the road accident of Mike Highton and the death of the previous season of Peter Collins. Brooks started well, and with his second place in Metro, beyond Burnham, he failed to finish the Dutch Grand Prix. Wow. But dominated won the French Grand Prix and Rams out. Okay, that makes more sense. Anyway, having failed to finish in the Vanwell in the British Grand Prix. Wow. Excuse me, spoke. Anyway, which I've drove due to fireworks in Italy. Excuse me. Burped it anyway. Being on strike. Wow, okay. Makes no sense anyway. But anyway, he won the only German Grand Prix on Formula 1, be held at AVUS. The race was split initially in two heats, and he won both. Excuse my fault. Anyway, wow, okay. Makes more sense than that whole entire race. But anyway, next, he had a slow car in Perez, okay? Quality 10th and finishing 5 laps down. He retired shortly after the start of Monza, with still the connection to win the championship. At the first ever United States Grand Prix for Formula 1 at Sebring, he was hit by German teammate Wolfgang von Trips. Wow. I don't know that would happen. And pinned the check for any damage, losing 2 minutes, and proved to be in a waste of time. Jesus. Anyway, still finished in 3rd place. Good enough. He finished 2nd in the championship with 27 points. Excuse me. set behind Burnham and wanted to have a head of Moss. Excuse me, I broke it. Anyway, Brooks won 6 races in the Vanwell and Ferrin, okay? Served for pole positions, achieved 10 podiums, and scored a total of 35 championship points. He dropped the BRM, but retired from the team in the end of 1961, but just before the most successful season. He had his career with the third place in the first ever United States Grand Prix at Watkins Glen. Okay, he was also an accomplished sports cars driver. Okay, when both the 1957 1000 km Nürburgring, I pronounced this word, sorry, and the 1958 RAC Tourist Trophy. Wow, with co-driver Moss racing the Aston Martin DBR one, it was less successful Le Mans in 1957 due to an accident which occurred while racing Aston Martin DBR1, and that year's 24-hour race. Wow, which brought about a change in this racing philosophy. Wow, crash in 1956 British Grand Prix, and the subsequently Mans crash in both occurring cars with mechanical problems. Wow. Which was aware, and Brooks being a devout Catholic, while he was never again risked his life in a car that was less than sound condition. He had 3 claims, okay? Qualms, how we now say. Anyway, when it came to be on conduction. However, I was lucky that Le Mans shot and didn't break anything, but I did have very served abrasions. There was a hole in the side of my thigh, and I could really had to put in my first into. It was with these injuries, he went on to race in the 1957 British GP with Moss and win. In 2007, Brooks was honored by his hometown. Wow. The Duncan Field District in Navesmead, part of the Thameside, Constable held there in his honor, wow, and in Villa Pike outside his former home in Park Lane. He died on May 3rd, 2022. He was 9 years old. Now, for my next dev topic, has to do with Howie Pryor. Now, Billy already talked about this on the kickoff show of episode 366. I want to talk about it today for you guys. It's go by the name of Howard Custon, and he was born June 28th, 1960, and he was an American bass player on Puerto Rican and Jewish American descent. Okay, he was probably a member of the Blast, Freaks, Generation, PCP Highway. He was also bass player in Dead Zing, okay, from 2000 to 2003, okay. He was also a DJ at Green Door parties. He was a host of Intoxio Radio with Howie Paro, okay, and the internet radio show where he was playing 50s and 60s rock and roll, Pyro Surf, Garage, Rockabilly, Hillbilly Auto Horrors, Voodoo R&B, Insane Instruments, Richmond Snuts, and Teenage Hell music, okay? Poe was also friends with Sid Vicious, which is, by the way, I want to talk about this now. Queen did not like Sid Vicious of Sex Pistols in the time, and it was sad to me, you know? And, by the way, because it's the saddest time, you know, and I felt like Freddie Mercury, which I'm a huge fan of, does not like Sid Vicious, and I don't know why. Roger Taylor said things like, who was a drummer of Queen at the time, said this. Sid was really a moron, you know? That's just me, of course. Which I have agreed with Roger at this point. but he then passed away in 1979. Sid did. But anyway, it was one of the last people to see the former sex official's bases alive. Wow. Perez was there that night. He died of a heroin overdose. Wow. Wow. In December 2021, it was announced that Perez was 5 minutes alive in recovery following the liver transplant. His one-month friend and D-Generation bandmate, Jesse Marlin, announced he would benefit concert for Perez in January 2022, with all the funds raised going to Perez's medical and living events for the next year as he recovered. Perez's other benefit shows held in Perez as well. He died on last Wednesday for COVID-19 relations after suffering from liver disease. He was 61 years old. Now, for the next step topic has to do with Bill Lacey, American football player, and he was born February 10th, 1943, and he was an American professional football player who was a linebacker. He played college football for the American University of Michigan and was professionally for 10 years in the American Football League, AFL for short, and National Football League, AFL for short, from 1965 until 1974. Okay? He was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and attended Maryland High School in Middletown, Michigan. Okay? As I mentioned, February 10th, 1943. Okay? Now, his college at the University of Michigan came when he enrolled in the University of Michigan, okay, in 1961, and played college football and position as head coach Bob Elliott's Michigan's Wolverines football teams from 1962 to 1964, excuse me, okay. During the 1963 and 1964 seasons, he caught 9 passes and 118 yards from 1 touchdown. Okay? Professional football career began when he led professional football, as a linebacker in the American Football League, AFL for short, for Buffalo Bills in 1965 and Oakland Raiders 1966 to 1969. In the National Football League, NFL for short, for the Raiders 1970, and Baltimore Colts in 1971 and 1972, and Denver Broncos in 1973 to 1974. He played at the Bullpo in 1965, but it was selected in the newspaper Enterprise Association, AEA for short. It was a second-team All-AFL player in 1967. Over the course of the 10-year AFL career, he appeared in 119 games, 45 as a starter, and had 7 interceptions and 8 fumble recoveries. He died yesterday. He was 79 years old. Now, for my last death topic, has to do with George Perez. And let me just say this. This happened when I saw this afternoon while I just read it from while my mom was watching TV. And when I first heard about it, I'm like, God, I have to read this. That's just me. But anyway, he was an American college comic book artist and writer who primarily worked as a penciler, okay? He came to pronounce in the 1970s, penciling the Avengers from Marvel Comics, and returned to the franchise in the 1990s, and in the 1980s, he penciled the new Teen Titans, when he returned to one of the DC Comics top-selling series. He penciled DC Landmark's limited series, Crisis on Infinite Earths, followed by relaunching Wonder Woman as both writer and penciler of the rebooted series. In the meantime, he worked on other comics published by Marvel, DC, and other companies in the 2010s. He was known for detailed realistic rendering, and then in this fantasy, it was complex crowd sense. Sorry, you hear me crackling in the background. But anyway, he was born June 9th, 1954, in the South Bronx, New York City. The George Gomez Perez and Love's mother, I can't pronounce the last name. That's Nee's last name, but anyway. N-E for sure. But anyway, were both from Puerto Rico, okay? Who did not meet until approximately 1949 until 1950, okay? After both were settled in New York and New Jersey while searching for job opportunities. They married in October 1954. Suddenly moved to New York, okay, where George worked as a meat packing industry, where Louis was a homemaker, okay. Makes sense anyway. George's younger brother, David, was born May 1955. Both brothers aspired at a young age to be artists, with George began to draw at the age of 5. His early career began when he was first involvement with the professional comics industry with his artist Rich Buckler, this dated in 1973. Okay? And he made a special debut in the Marvel Comics Associated Tales number 25, August 74, as Penciller, an untitled 2-page tale, okay? Of Butler's character, I can't pronounce it, okay, Deathlock, okay? Whatever that means. Started the comics' main feature, okay? Sue Perez became a Marvel regular. Pencil run of Sons of the Tiger, okay? Makes sense, everybody. Okay. A serialized action adventure strip published in the Marvel's long-running Daily Hard Hands of Kung Fu, okay, magazine, and offered by Bill Material, okay. He and Mattel co-created the White Tiger comics, first Puerto Rican superhero, a character that soon appeared in Marvel's color comics, most notably the Spider-Man titles, but Perez came to promise of Marvel's superhero team comics, including The Adventures, okay? Start with issue number 141. In the 1970s, Perez illustrated several other Marvel titles, including Creatures of Loose, okay? Features a man-wolf, and the Humans, and Fantastic Four. Writer Roy Thomas and Perez crafted a fictional story for Fantastic Four, number 176, in November 1976, in which the Impossible Man visited the office of Marvel Comics and met numerous comic careers. While most of Perez Fantastic Four issues were written by Roy Thomas or Len Wein, it would be a Fantastic Four annual where he was to have his first major cooperation writer, Marv Wolfman. Okay? Perez drew the first part of writer Jim Shooter's The Corax saga, okay? Which features nearly every adventurer who joined the team up at that point, okay? Shooter and Perez introduced the character of Henry Peter Gretsch, okay? The Avengers observation to the United States National Security Council, okay? In the second chapter of the same storyline, writer David Chauvet, I pronounced his last name, sorry, and Perez created the Taskmaster in the Avengers number 195 in May 1980. New Teen Titans began when the 1980s began to strike up with him, while still drawing the Avengers for Marvel. Perez began to work with their rival DC Comics, offer the art chores to launch the new Teen Titans. Written by Wolfman, Perez was the opportunity to draw Justice League of America. In competition of Perez's, which seemed like a natural progress from the Adventures, okay? Long-time Justice League artist Dick Dolan, okay? Died right around at that time frame. Provided the opportunity to Perez to step in as regular artist, okay? While Perez stint on the JLA was popular with fans, he received greater attention with work on the new Teen Titans, which was launched in special preview with DC Comics Presents number 26 in October of 1980. The creation of Teen Titans was intended to be DC's event answer to Marvel's increasingly popular X-Men comic. Wow. It became highly successful. A new Teen Titans drug awareness comic book sponsored by the Keeper Company. And it's, drawn by Perez and published in cooperation with the President's Drug Awareness Campaign in 1963. And in 1964, of August, a second series of new Teen Titans was launched by Wolfman Perez, okay? Moreover, Perez's factory with layouts, details, and faces improved enormously during his 4 years in the book, making him one of the most popular artists in comics, and advanced by the numerous industry awards he would receive during that time. I'm gonna read the C awards section below as soon as I can. But anyway. Now, Crisis on Infinite Earths, as soon as I can't get to it. But anyway, begins with this, okay? Perez took a leave of absence from New Teen Titans in 1984 to focus on the next project with Marv Wolfman. DC Comics 1985 50th anniversary event, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Crisis probably featured every single DC character DC. Oh wow! In a story which radically restored the DC universe, continually, Perez ink on a series by Dick Corrado, excuse me, Mike DiCarlo, and Jerry Ordway. Okay. After Crisis, Perez inked the final issue of Superman, issue number 423 in September 1986 over Kurt Swan's pencils for part 1 of the 2-part story, Whatever Happened to Man of Tomorrow, by writer Alan Moore. The following month, Perez was one of the first artists of Batman number 400 of October of 1986. Wolfman Perez teamed again to produce the History of DC Comics DC era, limited series, to summarize the revised history of their fictional universe. He drew the cover of the DC Heroes role-play game in 1985 from Mayfair Games, as well as the cover of the 4th edition of the Champions role-play game in 1989 for Hero Games, okay? Wonder Woman begins with him playing a key role in the 1987 reboot of the Wonder Woman franchise. Writer Greg Power spent several months working with editor Janice Reyes on the new concepts of the character before being joined by Perez. Okay. Inspired by John Brain and Frank Miller's work on refashioning Superman and Batman, he came into player and penciler in the series. Excuse me. Which tied the characters more closely to Greek gods. Wow. And just like many of other elements in her history. Wow. He also first worked with Pyre, okay? And then okay? On the stories, okay? But eventually took over the full scripting chores, okay? Later, Mindy Newell joined Perez as co-writer for nearly a year, okay? While not as popular as either Titans Crisis, the series was very successfully launched as one of DC's flagship characters, okay? Excuse me. Anyway, he would work on the title for 5 years. Excuse me. Anyway, leaving as the artist after issue number 24, but remains a writer from issue to issue number 62. Leaving in 1982, he would return to character in 2001, co-writing as a two-part story of issues 168 until 169, with writers and artist Phil Jimenez, okay? He also drew the cover for Wonder Woman 600 from August 2010, as well as some inner art for the successful 27 Wonder Woman feature-length film. Director Patty Jenkins will credit Perez's work on the title character as a major influence on part of the work on the original career William Marston, okay? The New Titans, okay? He returned as co-plotter, penciler of the new Teen Titans with issue number 50 on December 1988, with the series being renamed The New Titans, okay? Rewriting the original of Wonder Girl, okay? Following the goings in Crisis and the Finite Earths, okay? Perez renamed as penciler. They took a book, proved its issues number 55, 57, and 60, okay? We'll also provide layouts for issues number 56 to 59, all the way up to 61, okay? With artists, Tom Garment, okay? Finishing pencils, and Bob McGobb and Singer, okay? Misspoke. Anyway, the storyline at Lonely's Place of Dying crossed over the Batman series and introduced Tim Drake as new Robin, okay? Perez renamed as Inger the cover of the issues number 62 to 67 issues, okay? And co-plotted the stories of number 66 and 67 respectively before departing the Titans series once again. Now, Superman begins with this, okay? He was involved with Superman in various times over his career, okay? Including his tenure on Justice League in America years before that. Okay? In National Comics number 544, wow, that's a lot of numbers, okay? In June of 1963, anyway. He designed Lex Luthor's trademark battlesuit. Wow. These new designs from the villain were featured as part of the licensed action figure toy line in the Superpowers collection and remain used in today's DC Comics continually. Anyway, Perez pencil DC Comics presents number 61, in September of 1983, which featured Superman and OMAC team up, okay? A few years later, he inked John Byrne's pencils for the Superman Wonder Woman story Action Comics number 600 in March 1988. He drew portions of the Action Comics annual number 2 in 1989 before taking over the title of the issue number 643 in July of 1989. His work studios of Action Comics would change from writer penciler to co-writer breakdowns, okay? Providing breakdowns with writer Stern, scripting stories, and artists Brett Brady and Kerry Grammill providing finished art, while Perez drew all covers during this run at the title. Anyway. With the exception of issue number 646, and the entire pencil would keep Glavian. Anyway. He briefly with Avengers Superman providing plots with issues 457 for 459, okay? On August 1989 until October 1989, respectively. And next with issues 461 in December 1989. Due to already heavily workload while doing both Wonder Woman and Superman, at the same time. He left Action Comics with issues 652 in April of 1990, okay? War of Gods and Infinity Gauntlet, okay? It's also the same time that in 1991 that Perez encountered problems working with DC. Wow. Okay. He was stated that since the storyline's inception, which ran for through the Wonder Woman comics that's crossed over into Lovers, he had trouble writing the War of Gods storyline, mostly due to editorial problems. He felt that DC was not doing enough to celebrate Wonder Woman's 50th year anniversary. Wow. Makes matters worse in his eyes, DC did not place War of Gods in newsstand distribution. Okay, I don't know what happened to him at this point, but anyway, which meant that the comic book could not only be found in comics, especially shops, but yet build up a plot and to marry the comics characters, Steve Trevor and Ed Kennedy in his final issue. Wow. Now, Steve Trevor, let me show you this right now. It's I don't know, yeah, these two comics. Okay, never mind. Okay. When you discover that DC editors that decided to not only pass the Wonder Woman's title right to William Master-Loebs, as Master-Loebs write the final wedding scene, Perez quit the title and separated himself from DC Comics for several years. In 1992, he was a guest anchor for Deathstroke, the Terminator issues number 10 to number 11, okay? Also 91, he signed on to the pencil the 6-issue limited series Infinity Gauntlet for Marvel Comics, which was written by Jim Starlin. Also, however, due to the trouble since happening commercial with War of Gods, there was a very successful personal period for Perez. It would not be able to finish penciling the entire run of Infinity Gauntlet, okay? Leaving the project partway through issue number 4. In the Infinity Gauntlet, the editorial team decided to find a replacement artist to finish the miniseries, and Ron Lim was the artist chosen, although Perez offered to remain one of the anchors over Lim's covers art the remainder of the miniseries. But because of the debate, over the War of Gods and the Infinity Gauntlet, he began to gain a confidence as a career who would not finish as planned. Further impression, he worked with independent comic book publishers Marvel Comics, drawing Breakthrough and Ultra Force. Both titles were both part of the Marvel's Universe imprint, okay? And then working as Daniel Comics, drawing iBots. However, despite being paid by both publishers, he had no intention of drawing the characters, was interested in drawing the titles. Wow. Oh, wow. 1990s and Return of the Adventures. In the 1990s, okay, Perez left the spotlight, and although he worked on several projects, including work on the Jurassic Park comic book adaptation of the movie for Topps Comics in 93, done by Watt Sorensen and penciled by Jill Kane, for Perez's inker, where most notably in Marvel Comics with Stocks and Violence and Hawk and Feature Perfect, both written by Peter David. David was named Perez his favorite artist collaborator. He is one of the 3 artists who have art as many as closely matches and visual as he conceived when writing a comic book script. The others mean Leonard Kirk and Dale Kwan, okay? He returned to DC Comics in October 96 for another combination of Teen Titans Volume 2, and it was written by and penciled by Dan Gorantz, have announced it, with Perez as anchor for the first 50 issues in its 24-issue run. The issue ended in September of 98. Perez is a stand as a writer of the Silver Volume number 2, number 111 until 123, December 95, the year I was born, until December 96. He was also writing the crossover special Silver Superman in 1996. He finally returned to the major ongoing title of the third series of adventures, written by Kurt Busiek, okay, where he remained for nearly 3 years, again receiving the critical and fan acclaim for his polished and dynamic art, okay. After leaving the series, he and Boston producing it along way in JLA Adventures intercompany crossover, which saw parts print in late 2003. Okay. A JLA Adventures crossover would have to be published in the 1980s, but differences between DC and Marvel forced the comics to be cancelled. As the author of the story, he has drawn manually 21 pages of the original crossover, which is not published until the 2004 hardcover edition of the JLA Adventures Collector's Edition. Wow. Guerrilla Comics and Cross-Gen, okay? In 97, Perez began writing and illustrating Crimson Pledge, a creator-owned science fiction story about an alien with ultra-toxic blood, with its first issue published by Yvette Comics. Then in June 2000, the issue was republished by Guerrilla Comics, okay? A publishing imprint he co-owned by several other creators, with initial material pages, with a follow-up issue published in September of that year. He cited the debt he acquired self-publishing as reason for discontinuing the series. Wow. I don't know what to deal with you, Perez. Anyway, all work with the unpublished third issue was including Perez's George Perez storyteller. Perez worked with the new publisher Cross-Gen early in the 2000s, penciling 4 issues in the Cross-Gen Chronicles. His main project with the company was penciling Solace, okay? Was intended to be an ongoing series, but was canceled after 8 issues due to Costan's bankruptcy. Wow. Return to DC. In May 2006, he illustrated the cover on one of the alternate covers direct market release of the annual Over Steel comic book price guide, the first edition, featuring Wonder Woman. He have guest artists of the issue of the JSA number 82 in April 2006. It was the cover artist issues number 82 to 87. Okay, he drew the first 10 issues of DC's The Brave and the Bold volume 2, in 2007 with writer Mark Wald. Okay, Perez worked on Infinite Crisis, a follow-up to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Okay, and as a fill-in artist, he worked as a Final Crisis. Okay, Legend of Free Worlds in 2008 to 2009. Thus, during every chapter of DC's Crisis trilogy. He worked with Marv Wolfman in the direct-to-DVD movie adaptation of Jonas Contract story arc for the Teen Titans, scheduled to 2017. He was co-star chair of the board of the comedy industry charity called Hero Institute. Okay, misspoke. Anyway, and served as a discriminative community. In 2005, an animation version of the film and its cameo appearances from Teen Titans animated series episode called Go. Now, if you watch this remix, Teen Titans original series was better than the Teen Titans Go show, which sucks, which is an adoption is the new Teen Titans #1, and the episode for real, and Andre Rebecca attacks a bank called Bank of Perez. Now, I have no idea what Andre's doing this, but I've seen the show. I haven't seen the show in years. That's just me. Anyway, in City of Heroes, a massively multiplayer online RPG about superheroes, an online zone within the game Perez Park is named after him. Wow. The 2010s began when in 2011 of September, DC launched a new Superman series written by Perez. Wow. Which also provided breakdowns in cover art. Wow. With version art by Jesus and Nicola Scott. Human issue number 8 with the new Teen Titans games hardcore graphic novel, okay, was published the same month, reuniting the creative team of Wolfman Perez. He was the anchor of the new Green Arrow series, also launched in the same time frame of artist Dan Jordan's pencils, okay, reuniting the main mid-1990s Teen Titans art team, Perez and Kevin McGuire were 10 artists in the world's finest revivals written by Paul Revenes, okay? In July of 2012, he explained his departure from Superman as for reaction to the level of editorial oversight he experienced. Okay, this includes insolent reasons given for rewriting his material. Sorry about that, everyone. The ability of editors and to explain him, basic and spat, okay, of the new 52 Superman's status quo, such as whether his adoption parents were still alive, and research opposed by having to be consistent with Action Comics. We had set 5 years earlier when Superman, a situation compared by Action writer Grant Morrison, having not been forthcoming about their plans. From September 2014 until December 2016, one of the worst years of my life. But anyway, 2 of my worst years of my life I've seen. But anyway, he wrote and drew 6 issues in his own creation, Sirens, published by Boom Studios. It was a science fiction miniseries dedicated to a group of women with expanding powers who fight against evil across the time and space. In January 2019, he announced that he will formally retiring due to various health issues and will continue to produce only a limited number of commemoration style head sketches or commissions. He attended a limited number of conventions, okay? Now I'm going to read the awards and then personal life and death. That'll be it for this, and then we'll do a moment of silence, okay? Now, awards. He won a 1979 Eagle Award with Jim Shooter. Okay, sure, I pronounced his last name, okay. It is Shooter, okay. So, Bass Kimmo, okay, and David Wenzel for best continuous story for this work on Adventures, number 167 and number 68, and 167 number 137. In 1980, he won the Eagle Award for best comic book cover for Avengers number 85. He won an Eagle Award for favorite artist pencil in 1986. Perez received the Empire Award in 1983. In 1985, DC Comics named Perez one of the honorees in the company's 50th anniversary publication, 50 Will Made DC Great. He's worked with Wolfman, Romeo Tonji, I haven't announced his last name, earned the new Teen Titans number 50, a nomination for the 1985 Jack Kirby Award for Best Single Issue. His collaboration Wolfman earned Crisis Infinite Herbs, the Jack Kirby Award for Best Final Series in both 1985 and 1986. Perez won several Comic Buyers Guide Fan Awards. He won the Favorite Artist Award in 1983 and 1985, and favorite pencil, in 1987. In addition, he won the Favorite Color Artist awards for 3 consecutive years from 1985 to 1987. Crisis Infinite Herbs won the awards for Favorite Limited Series in 1985. Perez won several stories that won the CBG Award for Favorite Comic Book Stories, including these. In 1984, the Julius Contract entails Teen Titans number 42 and 44 and AO number 3. In 1985, Beyond the Solid Night and Crisis of Infinite Herbs in number 7. In 1989, A Lonely Place to Die in Batman number 440 and 442, and the New Titans number 60 and 61. In 2000, 2022, Perez was awarded for the Inkwell Awards Society Aldrin Special Collaboration Awards, SASRA for short, but it's Lifetime Achievement in Inking, okay? Perez was married to Carol Flynn. He had no children. He had brother David, his niece, and nephew. In October 2013, Perez revealed he would soon undergo laser injection surgeries to address Armagnac, okay? His left eye, that it was eventually made him blind from that eye. But that following June, producers was not yet completed. But his condition proved at the point that he was able to resume his work. In May 2017, he was admitted that he was in the hospital with chest pains due to heart attack while traveling to the convention, and had a very fit, okay? In January 2019, he was dealing with multiple health issues, including diabetes and problems with his vision and his heart. In December 2021, he was billed that after surgery to blockage in his liver, he had been diagnosed with in pandemic cancer. Given the prognosis of 6 to 12 months. Wow. He chose not to pursue treatment. In early 2022, both DC and Marvel could attribute to him his workness in their comics. Joining it proved in the limited run reprint in the 2003 JOA Adventure story he illustrated, one tied up by disagreements between the Bible publishers to benefit by the Hero Institute. He died yesterday due to the complications from pandemic cancer, and he was his friend Constance Ezra wrote the next day that the 67-year-old artist passed away yesterday, peacefully at home with his wife Carol and his family by his side. He was 67 years old. Okay. An open memorial service scheduled to be held at the MegaCon Orlando on May 22nd, 2022. Now, without further ado, let's do a moment's silence with regards to Jerry Vernon, Tony Brooks, the race car driver, Holly Perot, Billy Lasky, the American football player, and George Perez right now. Thank you. Rest in peace to these 5 people out there. And, yeah. Sorry about that. I was toning my voice up. Now I got two more topics to read for you guys. I was originally going to read one more topic to read, but I decided not to on FWL because of the stream decided to pull, because if I do, I'll be in trouble with the stream. But anyway. My first of the last 2 topics has to do with Matthew Welch's Jeopardy win streak held at 23 games after she loses by $1. Wow. Now, her winning streak on Jeopardy ended by the Swimmers of Margins yesterday. $1. She was 23 years old, a target for Toronto who won $560,983 in cash, U.S. cash, plus a $2,000 concussion prize for a loss. Fell to Georgia Digital Marketing Manager to now monitor people reporting, okay? Monitor from Peachtree Corners, a suburb northeast of Atlanta, is Graduate County's seamlessly received a way up when the final Jeopardy question was announced, okay? Now, the category was USA, and the clue was these two major gifts their names, and the factory built in the site and the old trace track owned by this Coca-Cola management mandate Ashley Chandler. Myra's correct question was who are William Hampshire and Myra Jackson and Hartsford Jackson Atlanta International Airport is named for the two former Atlanta managers, USA Today report. His correct answer was at the $4,200. Her original $11,400 total, giving her $15,600. Wow. Roach, who answered question correctly, who are Churchill and Downs, I don't know, a decade that is, wagered 3,601 and felt at 15,359 people reported. Wow, 399 people report, excuse me. Occasionally for Georgia native, okay, maybe that's not so hard. Host Ken James told Meyer, okay. But remember, these questions are written months in advance and assigned randomly to James games before we even know who the contestants are. Rose's jury advanced earlier this week with the final Jeopardy clue asked for the name of Canada's national anthem, the USA Today reported. Now, said this by Justin Trudeau on Twitter, okay? Clue. The winner of 23 consecutive episodes of Jeopardy, the youngest super champion in the show's history. The person who has made us so proud back in her here on her home. The answer, who is Mattia Welch. Congratulations on the historic run, Mattia. We couldn't be prouder. I have to agree with her. She's a Canadian. You gotta do something to make her proud. Anyway. Till 8 p.m. yesterday. Anyway. Welch's total errands placed her in 5th on the all-time consecutive games list. The all-time highest regular season ratings list, the show said in the news release. She trails only James, Amy Steiner, Matt Binion, and James Hometer in both categories. Wow, okay. Makes more sense anyway. It feels like she's still kind of like a dream, Medea said in the statement. I really came down to her hoping to maybe win one game. And so I cannot believe it. You know, it's strange, obviously. I didn't come through it on the last one. But I still feel so happy and so lucky I had to have this experience. The new champion was thrilled with her achievement. It was one of the most incredible experiences of my life, Mary said in the statement. Wow. To not only get there in the win, which I'm thrilled and excited about, but for me having it against a 23-day champion, Welch will return to the show and when the Jeopardy Tournament of Champions is held this fall. So that's my one topic to read. Now let's move on to my last topic, which is the new Jackass. I'm not going to say the cuss words, but anyway, Jackass. But anyway, sorry about that. But anyway, we're scratching the bodies, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, TV series held to Paramount Plus. Anyway, new small screen project follows the farcical success of Jackass Forever is here early this year. Now, I was going to talk about this on FWL this year, but I decided not to, but because of the streaming blocks my feed doing FWL, I decided to talk about it in the TheCrazyBunch's WebShow today. So let's do it anyway. Anyway, Paramount Global set the works a new Jackass TV series after expected box office performance on Jackass Forever. Anyway, based on the success of Jackass Forever, we're working on the careers to continue the partnership with a new series, bringing even more ridiculous antics straight to Paramount Plus. Paramount Global CEO Bart Backish told the Post put earnings analyst call on earlier this week. Backish said the new Jackass series is new, a first project to come from a Paramount Global estate to watch TV spin-offs and Paramount Plus that leverage earlier vertical successes. After Jackass Forever debuted in theaters in February, which is back in February, that is, Paramount Plus added episodes of the original Jackass series to the streaming platform. Wow. Baggett said that the spin-off TV series Paramount Plus will depend on relationships with the fan bases on popular content. The R-rated Jackass Forever movie opened a better than expected $23.5 million for 3,604 theaters in Plague 13, Johnny Knoxville, and Cruz returned to the break screen. On the analyst call, Baggage talked about Jackass Forever and Scream both performing well in movie theaters before heading to Paramount Plus. Paramount Pictures, MTV Entertainment, and Dick Productions, how to pronounce this word. But anyway, revived the Jackass franchise 12 years after the third film, Jackass 3D, was released. So that's all what I'm going to say about this topic. And double episode of the Crazy Bunch's web show, episode number 62. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be episode 63. I'm not sure we're going to be talking about yet, but we'll just see what happens. Until next time, Sue Jarvis, goodbye, peace out, baby. We get more Crazy Bunch's web show episodes discussed by Sue. Till then, just say out. See ya.